I drove 800 miles to see my daughter Maria get married, arriving at her doorstep at 6 a.m., suitcases in hand. When she opened the door, her face was cold, like I was a stranger. "Sorry, Mom," she said. "I didn't know you were coming." Just then, my future son-in-law, Sergio, appeared behind her with that phony smile I'd come to know so well. "She thinks that $63,000 guarantees your presence," he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. I stood there completely stunned. I'm Maribel, 71 years old. I raised Maria on my own, working double shifts, selling my car, even mortgaging my house to pay for her college, her first apartment, and a new car. For the past 3 years, Sergio had been poisoning our relationship, whispering in her ear that I was meddlesome, that she needed independence. When they asked for money for the wedding, I wired them $63,000, almost my entire retirement fund. And now on her wedding day, I was being told, "The ceremony is very intimate, just close family." I looked at my daughter, my own flesh and blood. "But I'm your mother," I said, my voice trembling. Sergio stepped forward, blocking my view of her. "The seats in the reception are already calculated," he insisted, as if I were a problem on a spreadsheet. I walked back to my car, my heart a lead weight in my chest. I pulled out my phone, called my bank, and put a stop to the transfer, citing family fraud. Then, I checked myself into the most luxurious hotel I could find. It wasn't long before my phone started exploding with notifications. Maria called, pleading, "Mom, there was an error, please." Then Sergio called, demanding I fix this. When I didn't back down, his tone turned nasty. "Old woman," he snarled, "if you don't fix this in 2 hours, you'll regret it." That was the last straw. I immediately phoned my lawyer, Alejandro. "Tomorrow morning," I told him, "we're changing everything." Throughout that night, I received 41 missed calls and 12 texts, a sickening roller coaster of begging, insults, and threats. At 3 a.m., unable to sleep, I scrolled through Maria's social media. I saw posts of the ring, the dress, the honeymoon plans, but not a single photo or mention of me. The caption on one picture thanked Sergio for cutting the chains. That's when I knew the silence was over. At 7 a.m., Maria called again. I answered, my voice firm. "Continental Hotel, 10 a.m., you come alone." Before our meeting, I met with Alejandro and completely rewrote my will. When Maria arrived at the hotel lobby, she rushed to hug me, but I held her at arm's length. "Tell me," I asked quietly, "when did I stop being close family?" I laid it all out for her. Every sacrifice. The tuition, the car, the apartment, the $63,000. She tried to defend Sergio, saying he was just stressed. I looked her in the eye and asked, "How many times in the last year have you called just to see how I'm doing?" The silence was her answer. Then I told her something she never knew. When her father left us, he begged me to go with him and leave her behind. I chose her. I always chose her. I asked her how Sergio managed to twist my love, my warnings about her past abusive boyfriends, into something he called control. I showed her my bank balance, then explained the properties and investments I had secretly built up while she was growing up. "I hid all of this," I confessed, "so you would love me for me, not for my money." She started to cry, admitting she couldn't even remember my favorite color, my favorite food, or what I liked to do. "Sergio let you take my money," I told her, "but he wouldn't let you take my love. He made you my heir, but he stopped you from being my daughter." I gave her an ultimatum. 24 hours. Choose respect, or I would choose for her. That afternoon, I decided to take care of myself. I went to a spa, a salon, and bought a stunning red dress. Sergio called, trying his smooth talk. "Let's sort this out," he said. I cut him off. "The issue isn't stress, Sergio. It's how you've deliberately isolated my daughter." He offered me a special seat at the wedding. I refused to accept crumbs. "What will it take?" he finally asked, exasperated. I laid out my final terms. "Maria comes to me tonight, alone. She apologizes and she promises me that no one will ever push me out of her life again." At 8 p.m., there was a knock on my hotel suite door. It was Maria. She looked exhausted, but she was alone. Over a glass of wine, she finally broke down, admitting she'd lost her connection to herself, to the person she used to be. I asked her when she had last made a decision for herself, without Sergio's approval. She couldn't remember. She confessed she had always dreamed of a small, simple beach wedding, but he had insisted on a grand spectacle, so everyone sees. Real love, I told her gently, accepts you as you are. Control tries to mold you into someone else. She was afraid of the scandal canceling the wedding would cause. I looked her in the eyes. Would you rather have one day of scandal or a lifetime of regret? She made her decision. She was canceling the wedding. When she went home to tell him, he exploded. He called her crazy, accused me of brainwashing her, and threatened to ruin her career. She came back to my hotel with a small suitcase, her resolve firm. The next day, she posted a simple sign at the church, canceled by decision of the bride. She asked me to release the funds, not for the canceled wedding, but to pay the innocent vendors who would have otherwise lost out. I agreed without hesitation. The calls started pouring in. Sergio's family blamed me. A local reporter even called. But Maria also heard from our priest, who said he'd rather see a canceled wedding than an unhappy marriage, and from relatives who admitted they had suspected Sergio's controlling nature all along. Sergio tried one last time, calling her on speaker. He begged. Then he tried to gaslight her, but Maria was strong. Your love took myself and my mother away from me, she said calmly. It's over. Then she blocked his number. He took his smear campaign to social media, posting about how a meddling mother ruined true love. So, I opened my own account. I calmly posted my side of the story, his threats, the proof of the frozen transfer. The response was overwhelming. Women flooded my inbox with messages of support. Then, a woman named Letitia, Sergio's ex-girlfriend, posted her own story. He had isolated and controlled her, too. 3 more women came forward with identical stories. Sergio vanished from social media, and soon after he lost his job. A week later, we were packing up Maria's things from their apartment. She didn't feel sorry. She felt free. She asked if she could finally meet Moises, the good man I had been quietly in love with for 5 years, a man I kept secret because Sergio had taught her to distrust my happiness. At dinner, Moises brought me flowers, respected my place in Maria's life, and never once tried to compete for attention. Maria saw for the first time the profound difference between love and possession. 6 months have passed. Maria has a new job, healthier friendships, and a new boyfriend who encourages her to call me every day. I sold some of my properties, and Moises and I are finally traveling the world together. Over lunch recently, Maria thanked me for fighting for her, even when she fought against me. I told her my goal was never to say, "I told you so." It was just to get my daughter back. That night, Moises told me that not many mothers would risk their daughter's anger to save them. I told him that true love requires courage, the courage to say no when everyone expects a yes, and to defend your dignity even if it makes you look like the villain. My only regret is waiting so long to stop apologizing for loving my daughter so fiercely. I don't regret the 800-mile drive, or freezing that money, or waging that war. I learned that kindness should never cost you your self-respect, and a mother who knows her own value raises a daughter who will one day learn to know hers. Thank you so much for watching my story. If it resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more.